One day, Kaieru, the banshee, said on the TV that her ship had been discovered. Saw on the TV that her ship had been discovered, and it was surrounded by thousands of soldiers and crowds of people, all straining to catch a look. She could hear the hum, so she knew that the ship was becoming nervous. So she hurried back to the secret entrance miles away from the ship and walked the tunnel to the ship. Once inside, she sat in the captain's chair. The ship had recognized her, a lowly gardener, as captain because she was the only surviving crew member on board. And this had happened centuries ago. Suddenly her image was being broadcast on all connected devices on the planet. My name is Kieru, and it means girl from the stars in my language. I come from the Blue Star Nebula. Your yellow sun is poisonous to me. Therefore I, the banshee, as you call me, who screams you fear in the night, stand before you on this stage, your sunlight filtered out in my natural form. And yet I survive. And yes, I survive. I feed upon the newly dead in order to form a living skin, a protection from your sun's poisonous rays. My people, we do not eat meat. We eat plants. I do not kill. I simply use the bodies of people who have died. Like some crustaceans use the abandoned shells of other crustaceans as homes, as defenses. You have nothing to fear from me. I simply want to survive. I mean you no harm. On my Oops, that double jumped. On my home world, I was a poorly educated gardener. I cared for and talked to my plants. I have always felt like an outsider, even among my own kind. This arrow thing jumps on. Please don't approach the ship or hit it with a projectile of any kind, or attempt to tag it or bag it, because the ship will not react well. And I would not be able to stop it in time before millions of your people had been killed. So please stay back for your own protection. Stay back. Only the screen at the UN was live any longer. You, the world leaders, can talk to me in confidence. That was it. And it will remain so. And it will remain so. And it will remain so. That was it. We all get all the world leaders gasped, panicked, and pondered. What should be done? Banshees are real. Wipe them all out. Why take chances? It's an invasion. A wave of fear swept the planet, and it bounced off the ship in the form of bullets, bombs, and tracking devices. Then the screams went out. Radiation! Radiation! A simple release of radioactive waste, and not overkill, and the area was cleared. I could have, should have, would have left this planet 58 years ago, but I lingered, she said to the government leaders at the UN. Now I shall stay upon your world no longer. In 7 days I will be leaving your planet. I have helped you, and you have helped me. I thank you, and I thank the biosphere, and I thank this planet for giving me sustenance all these years, all these centuries. And I ask you, I will be vulnerable to your missiles when I leave this planet. I ask you to ensure my safety. A sentient person would know what needed to be done to ensure a safe departure from your planet. On my journey home. But you have become my family. You have become my children. I am asking. The UN met in the side room. They said, can she be trusted? The council voted yes. And then the UN and all of its members signed off on it. She had the world's guarantee. Every government on the planet signed off on it. We would let her depart in peace. So then the day came and we did let her depart in peace. But then as Kiara ship passed behind Mars, so that her ship was invisible to the Earth, it was vaporized by a battery of missiles maintained by the UN Space Command. The world knew nothing of this and never would. Or would they? But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's start at the beginning. Kiara worked in the gardens upon an Aterian starship exploring deep space when an accident happened on board. And the captain ordered everyone to shelter in place, and then he ordered the ship's computer to find a planet with a biosphere where the ship could set down for repairs. That was the last communication Kiera had with anyone else on the ship until it crash landed on Earth, landing upon the peatlands and sinking in Ireland and sinking into them. Kiera put on her emergency spacesuit and opened the doors to the halls. Open the doors to the halls. Okay, and walking the empty corridors, she soon realized that she was... Jeez, I hate how this jumps. She was alone. There was no one else on the ship, alive. From this vantage point, she realized that the ship was sinking and that she didn't have much time. So she gathered up her seeds and a few plants and left the ship. She made her way to a cave where she sat and cried. Even through her spacesuit, her skin still burned from the poisonous yellow sun. What was she ever going to do? How would she survive? She knew that she would have to practice, in the ancient art, science that she knew was within her and become a skinwalker. The practice of feeding upon a sentient being in order to grow living skin, becoming in appearance that being. Skinwalkers were outlawed on my planet long ago, and most no longer have the ability, which must be passed down from parent to child, but Kiara still had it. As a young woman, before she had stopped aging, her mother had showed her the forbidden ceremony, and they both had skinwalked. A rapturous year filled with slipping in and out of identity and feasting upon absorption and convergence of minds, bodies, identities. It was all a mystical year. And then she grew up and put all that behind her, pledging herself to the plant that we worship, the giver of life that stops the aging process and gives us eternal youth. And she thought she truly committed, that her skinwalking adventure, that would be it for the rest of her life, first and last time, done, over. But marooned here under the yellow sun, what choice did she have? She had to skinwalk. She had to kill. She had to skinwalk, but not to kill. She was an adult now, and she knew that she would never again be able to consume another sentient being. So she decided to only consume to only consume, where the hell is it? Okay, the bodies of the newly dead in order to walk upon the world. From time to time, when Kilara is feeding, she will be scared off, usually by a grave robber, who will be just as frightened as she is. And so there have been pictures taken of her in flight from the scene from time to time. But the funny thing about that is, the same picture of her in her natural state will be seen by half the people who view it as a blue-skinned woman with a tinge of green, while the other half of people will view it as a picture of a yellow-skinned woman with a tinge of gold. But once she does feed, as she does, she metamorphosizes into the likeness of the person she has ingested, with many of their fading memories and feelings still intact within her. And this living skin protects her from our sun for years, decades, sometimes even longer, depending upon how much resistance how much resistance there is in the person she consumed, during which time she feeds upon a plant. That is her diet, which is native to her planet, that now grows everywhere on ours, and she is able to walk among us. With a new body, Kiara entered Trinity College, even though she had written most of the books being taught there. She decided to take a course on banshees, to learn what is taught about her in the larger culture. There she noticed one of the students, James Kabanga O'Brien, who spoke so vividly about banshees that she wanted to know more about this young man. He was a drama student, and he was writing a play about banshees. "Oh, could I write it? Could I read it?" she said. "Certainly," he said. So they shared a bottle of wine as he read his play to her aloud. And then after the second glass of wine, he woke up the next morning, having completely rewritten his play. He couldn't even remember doing it, but it was so good. It sung the cry of the banshee. Cry of the banshee. He called Kilara his muse and insisted that she star in his play. At first she refused, but then she reluctantly agreed. The school was soon abuzz about the discovery of a new Shakespeare. The fun, the camaraderie, treating life as a celebration. It was all so intoxicating. Then on the eve of the performance, she felt her stomach, and she knew something was wrong. So she began running. She had to make it back to the ship, to the life pod, but soon she could not make it one step further. So she crawled into the bushes on her hands and knees and gave birth to a son. And then as she bundled up her child in her own blouse and prepared to stand up and to continue on to her ship, she froze. The whole process, it was triggering a shedding of her skin. She quickly placed the baby down as she began to shed her skin. "So I walked out of my house to see what all the noise was about," said Harry to Officer Ben Levitt. "And so here was a newborn baby on the ground, and her mother, who was in all body paint, out cold, half in the bushes, half out. It's a good thing she put the baby down before she passed out. But I didn't have any time to worry about her. There was a baby I had to think about. So I brought the baby into our house, and when I came back for the mother, she was gone, vanished." "Well, Harry," said Officer Ben Levitt, "we'll take it from here." "Oh, no," said Harry. "My wife, Delina, and I will take her." His wife hadn't left the house in years. The officer and Harry both tried to ignore the curtain in the window fluttering. "All right, then," said Officer Ben-Levitt. "I will just file the report, but Doc Williams will still have to check her out first." "Okay," said Harry. "I'll go with you." And listening from the shadows, Kiara thought, "What am I going to do? What am I going to do?" As Harry and Ben drove off, Kiara sensed Harry's wife, Delana, behind her. "It's all right, dear. They're gone," she said. "Safe to come out now." So Kiara emerged from the bushes, and upon seeing Kiara and realizing instantly what she was, Delana clenched her chest and fell down dead. So Kiara dragged her into the bushes and fed. Hours later, Kiara emerged from the bush, looked at her hands and her clothes, and hurried back into the house. And 20 minutes later, she emerged from the house and flagged down. Where is it? She emerged from the house and flagged down a car and had them drive her to the hospital. They knew her. They were surprised to see her. Kiara felt no resistance from the host. So when she saw Harry, there was no scream of the banshee, only concern for the baby. Harry's lot... Wait a minute, I'll stop this and start it again.